and you are looking live at Sold Out Giants Stadium, where today the 15-0 New York Giants are taking on the 0-15 Dallas Cowboys. And why are the Dallas Cowboys 0-15? Because they suck. And welcome to the Gridiron, guys. Anybody out there spend any time at all watching this or watching maybe the replay of it? I greatly appreciate it. You guys freaking rock. Means so much to me. Thank you so much. Going to go about 30 minutes here. We've got the countdown going on. Just about 27 days from right now, the official first game will be over. So the countdown is on. Guys, we got 7 days to go until we see the first game. I'll tell you what, boy, I can hardly wait, huh? But I saw a couple of reports there. They're breaking down. One of them is breaking down the Giants' final 53-man roster and the depth, too. Okay. Let's see. Now, they unveiled, shall I say, the 53-man roster on Tuesday, because that's what everybody had to get down to. Giants also signed 16 players to the practice squad on Wednesday. Okay. And apparently now they have firmly established the 69 players who contribute to the franchise in 2022. But, of course, with injuries and stuff, this stuff's always going to be, changing. But this is a G-Men HQ. There's a article here I'm going over here. Now, while the Giants roster isn't finalized, there are still some clear weak spots. Oh, yeah. Yes, there are, due to the salary cap hell from good old Mr. Dave Gettleman. All right, put the Giants franchise into it. So here's a breakdown, all right, what we got here at the depth now that the roster has been finalized, okay? Obviously, we got the start of Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor, all right? So for the first time in a long time, I feel really pretty good about our backup quarterback, Tyrod Taylor, The biggest thing with him, of course, obviously, is health wise. All right, can the guy stay healthy? Same thing with Daniel Jones. All right, the thing they both have in common is can they stay healthy? Now, but Tyrod Taylor's experience, he's very good with the football. I'm really happy. If something will happen to Daniel Jones, okay, say he would get injured like he does every year. And Tyrod would have come in the game, I feel really, it's not like, oh God, we got the backup in there. Oh God, no. Tyrod can certainly handle himself out there. So, first time in a long time, I really feel good about the backup quarterback. All right. Let's see here. You got Tyrod Taylor is a great insurance policy for the Giants, as he has 59 touchdowns to just 25 interceptions in his NFL career. So he's very good with the ball, indicating he is more than capable of playing quality NFL football if called upon. Jones has been injured during all three of his NFL seasons, missing a total of 11 games, which makes him his backup a very important position. Now, if Jones stays healthy, he's due, well, hopefully he's due for a nice season, but we'll have to wind up waiting and see, because this has got to be his last hurrah. We're trying to help with the offensive line, help him with the weapons, help him with the scheme, new quarterback, offensive coordinator, obviously offensive minded head coach and all that and everything. So, I don't know exactly what his numbers have to be for him to get re-signed again, but he's got his work cut out for him, because they did not pick up his fifth-year option. So, I mean, that's not good, But then we got the running backs, right? Because obviously we got, Saquon, Matt Breida, Tony Williams, and Gary Brightwell. Now, Gary Brightwell, looked pretty good in the preseason, but also he's very good on special teams, okay? So that's very, very important. I was kind of surprised that they did keep four running backs on the active roster. I thought they might just try to keep three, get away with three, but they went for four. All right, they got here, the Giants running back position is in such a good spot. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, there's some spots the Giants got where you're like, oh man, we're a little thin there or something, but the running back position is in pretty good. I mean, none of these guys are quite as explosive, obviously, as Saquon. So if he would go down, obviously you're losing something there. But I tell you what, with Williams and Breida, I'll tell you what, they're more than capable. Okay, certainly more than capable. They're kind of like Devontae Booker from last year. I mean, Devontae Booker is not as explosive as Saquon, but I'm just kind of bummed out. We didn't want to, bringing him back or whatever. But because Devontae did a very nice job in Saquon's absence. Not flashy or anything like that, but he did a very good job. He even averaged more yards per carry than Saquon did, right? The Giants running back position is such a good spot that they unfortunately had to cut standout rookie back Jashaun Corbin due to an overwhelming amount of depth at that position. Saquon Barkley is expected to be a 3-down running back, but he significantly durability concerns. Yep. Which makes his backups integral to the Giants' success. Breida missed the majority of training camp due to various injuries, but he is a veteran who has proven in short spurts he can be very successful. And the Giants decided to keep 4 running backs because Williams and Brightwell will have significant roles on special teams, with Brightwell being the primary kick returner. So that's one thing Brightwell certainly has going for him. Wide receivers. All right, now we got Galladay, Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard, Wan'Dale Robinson, Sills, Slayton, and Richie James. Now we still got Darius Slayton on the roster. Now the thing is with that, could be holding on to him because they're trying to maybe possibly trade him and get something in return, because if they could, they'll be saving themselves, possibly maybe if they're lucky, maybe a 6th-round pick. But I'm thinking maybe if they do trade him, possibly like a 7th. But it's hard to pass up on a draft pick. Okay. So I mean, if they want to trade him and maybe get in the 7th round, and plus also to be saving $2.5 million toward the salary cap, which would bump them up close to around $8 million, which they can have, which they're going to need during the season. So the more money the Giants can get, the better. Let me tell you what. I mean, they saved about $200,000 by letting go Blake Martinez. Okay, so that wasn't very much. But but there's another thing. The Giants wide receiver group is quite talented. It is, but contains significant question marks outside of rookie Wan'Dale Robinson. The 6 other wide receivers on the Giants roster have significantly durability concerns. Yep. So at least when we got Wan'Dale Robinson, we're trying to start a new slate there, bringing in possibly, hopefully healthy receivers who can hopefully stay healthy. I mean, that would be huge, huge. All 6 of those other wide receivers have battled injury issues throughout their careers, which is rather concerning. Yep. Because your best ability is your availability. If you're like Kadarius Toney, it doesn't matter what you can do. It might take 9 guys to tackle you because you're so elusive and all that. But if you only play 3 downs and then you got to come out because you got a problem with your hamstring, I mean, come on, right? Galladay, Toney, and Shepard will form a solid starting wide receiver group for the Giants. Absolutely. But I mean, they all got injury problems. And if Galladay starts to round back into his Detroit form, the Giants' offense could really take off. Robinson has electric speed, so he will play a significant factor immediately, despite this being the Giants' 4th receiver. The pressure will be taken off as Darius Slayton's shoulders, as he's now the 6th receiver. So while David Sills and Richie James are tremendous insurance policies, Sills will likely see meaningful time as he was the best wide receiver in camp and has the best chemistry of any wideout with Daniel Jones, which is absolutely true. So that's very important. All right, then we got the offensive line. Okay, let's go over this here. The offensive line. They got here the starters of Thomas, Devery Hamilton, Feliciano, Mark Lewinsky, and Evan Neal. And they got Azudu, Bredesen, Jack Anderson, and Tyree Phillips are the backups. Now I'm going to go over Anderson in a few minutes here. Possibly, maybe being the starting left guard. We'll have to wind up maybe not nudging out Devery Hamilton somewhere along the line. We'll have to wait and see. That's if, also, I mean, if we can ever get Shane Lemieux, wouldn't that be fantastic if he could actually suit up without getting injured? I mean, it'd be nice to see him on the field, but I mean, partially torn patellar tendon. I mean, 3-4 days in the training camp last year, non-contact injury. I think they were just doing a drill or something like that. And he partially torn his patella. I mean, Now here he is, hardly in the training camp. Once again, he's got a problem with his toe. I mean, it's like, how did he make it through college? I mean, seriously, how do you make it through college if you can't even make it through a week of training camp? Absolutely unbelievable. Now with the offensive line, it says this position group is much better shape than it was 24 hours ago. Thomas, Feliciano, Glowinski, and Neal are all quality NFL starters at their position, giving Daniel Jones the best group of protectors he's had in the Giants' tenure. However, with Shane Lemieux being placed on the IR yesterday, he will miss at least the first 4 games of the season, leaving the Giants' left guard position rather unsettled. That's why I'm going to go over Anderson here in just a short bit. Hamilton is the most likely fill-in starter based on his camp performance as well as injuries to Ezeudu and Bredesen. But Hamilton is, but Anderson, also has not been pretty much in training camp. They just picked him up off the waiver wire, all right? And it says here, Anderson, a 2021 and a 7th-round pick of the Bills, was claimed off waivers from Philadelphia on Wednesday. Anderson could fit in seamlessly. Yes, he could. As he already connected to Dable and Shane and the offensive line coach Bobby Johnson and their time together in Buffalo. Okay. So I'm going to go over a little bit more with Anderson in a few minutes here. Then their tight end position. Whew. They got Chris Myrick, I believe, let me see here, on the depth chart as their fullback. Okay, so he's a tight end / fullback, all right? So we're going to have to wind up keeping that. But as far as tight ends, they have 2 tight ends. Okay, they are not loaded with experience. I'm not saying that talent or anything like that. They certainly don't have a boatload of talent. All right, let's see. Oh, thank you, Vinny. Good stuff on your content, Gridiron. I follow you. Thanks. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And all the help I can get. Thank you so much. I'm going to try to keep it up for you. But I mean, on the tight end, I mean, they got Bellinger and Hudson. I mean, you go from Caden Smith, not a lot of experience there, but Rudolph, Evan Ingram, and Caden Smith. You go from that to Bellinger and Hudson in 1 year. I'll tell you what, that's. It says here this group feels rather unsettled. Yep, and you only got 2 guys. That's really unsettled. But what you're also probably going to find is that with Dable's offense, one of the reasons why they might have only had 2 tight ends on the roster is they don't do a lot of 12 or maybe 13-man, positional, groups going out there, so that, they might just have their 1 tight end out there a lot. So we'll have to wind up waiting and see. All right. But while tight ends are not expected to have a huge receiving role in the Giants offense, okay, is an integral part that they are elite blockers. Bellinger, the 4th-round pick, played his ball at San Diego State, a school that has famously featured a heavy run-first offense. Yep, which allowed Bellinger to display his elite blocking ability. Bellinger will get the start due to his blocking ability, but his backup, veteran Tanner Hudson, who won the 2021 Super Bowl with Tampa Bay, is the bigger receiving threat. Okay, this group could still use an upgrade. Yep. But it does not seem like that's going to happen. Undrafted rookie Austin Allen is on the practice squad, so he could be additional help that they need on Sunday. So I'd be kind of interested to see, after this year, where do they go? Do they draft like maybe another tight end next year? If they're going to let Hudson go, keep Bellinger maybe for his blocking, maybe draft another tight end in the 4th or 5th round, somewhere around there next year. Maybe somebody's a little bit of a better pass receiver. Be interesting to see. But as you saw, I mean, the tight end wasn't much of a focal point, shall we say, for Buffalo, in their offense. So it is what it is. Now we got the defensive line here. All right, we got just got 5 guys on the defensive line. All right, Leonard Williams, Sexy Dexter Lawrence, Nick Williams, Justin Ellis, and DJ Davidson. Now you knew DJ Davidson was probably going to make the team because being a draft pick, right? He had 1 foot in the door. Doesn't mean he's going to wind up staying around, after this year, years down the road. But as far as making the team, he had a very good shot this year making the team. Okay. The Giants are likely to play a lot of 2 defensive line sets. Yeah, because just think about it, right? Obviously, you got 11 guys on defense. No kidding. Jeff, duh. But if you look at, if you're going to have your 2 edge rushers, right? That's 2 guys. Let me hold the fingers up here, right? Then you get your 2 defensive linemen, right? Now you're at 4. You're going to have just say, 2 safeties, right? You could have 3 safeties, but let's just go with 2, all right? So now you're up to 6, okay? If you have, you could have 3 cornerbacks on the field, right? You almost got to have 3. You almost got to, in the secondary, you almost got to have 5 guys, all right? So that leaves maybe 2 inside linebackers, right? Quite possibly. They can have, there might be a time where Belton's healthy, right? Maybe they might have Love and Xavier McKinney is kind of, the safety's a little farther back, but then they might walk Belton down into the box as part, as helping out against the run. So you might have, 3 cornerbacks, 3 safeties, 2 defensive linemen, 2 edge rushers, and you might only need Tate, because we don't have Blake Martinez there anymore. You might have Micah McFadden, you might have Tate Crowder, or Carter Coughlin, or one of those guys in the middle, right? So I mean, they only need, and they wind up keeping 5 altogether, okay, right? So they got Nick Williams, Justin Ellis, and DJ Davidson. So they only, just the 2 interior defensive linemen, they only need, 5. So they got, Sexy Dexter and Leo the Lion, right? And then they just got 3 backups for him. Okay. Let's see here. Nick Williams, who played solid football in training camp and started 17 games for the Lions in 2021. He will back up Lawrence and Williams. When the Giants put 3 defensive linemen on the field, either Davidson or Ellis will be the nose tackle. The Giants' defensive line position is in pretty good shape. Yes, it is. I'll tell you what, the one thing I was very impressed with was throughout pretty much the entire, just preseason, I get it, but throughout pretty much the entire preseason, the Giants' run defense, very good. I mean, as far as putting pressure on the quarterback hits and stuff like that from the defensive interior lineman, that wasn't, we had Trenton Thompson. I can't remember. We had 2 sacks in preseason. Not impressed. But, that was just preseason. The defense, a lot of the defenses were rather vanilla and all of that. A lot of Dexter Lawrence was not in there. Leo Lyon was not in there a lot. So, and of course, we can't, it seems to be almost impossible to get Kayvon Thibodeau and Azeez Ojulari on the field at the same time. It's like, it's like you're asking, really, seriously, almost like you're asking for miracles. That means like every time one guy's healthy, the other guy gets injured. Then the other guy's healthy and the other guy gets, it's like, it's just crazy. But then we got the outside linebackers, okay? They wind up keeping, they got 5 of them here. All right, let's see on the depth chart here. Outside linebackers. Who we got? Weak side linebacker. Defensive end. Deep rush. They got, pretty much. Yeah, all right, so they got 5. They got outside linebackers. They got Toman Fox, Oshane Ximines, and Jihad Ward, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Azeez Ojulari, and Quincy Roche, I believe, is on the practice squad. So we let him go. Somehow we wound up getting him back. So good. So the Giants are pretty good in there. Okay, you got Kayvon Thibodeau and Azeez Ojulari, a fantastic young duo who could dominate opposing offenses for the next decade. Yes, if somehow they can stay healthy. All right. Jihad Ward is third in the outside linebacker pecking order and will likely start if Thibodeau or Ojulari are not healthy enough to play in the season opener, which is quite possible. Ximines, who was left for dead when training camp began. Yeah, I was one of those. Absolutely. I didn't think he was going to make this team. Impressed the new regime to somehow stick around for a 4th season in blue. Yep. Well, this is huge for him because he's a Shermer guy, right? He made it through Shermer, he made it through Judge, and now somehow he's making it here with Dable. He's made it through 3 different coaches, and he's not impressed. His rookie season wasn't too bad, but the last 2 seasons have not impressed at all. And somehow he made it through this season. So, but this is a big season for him because he's going to want to get paid, not from the Giants. He's going to want to get paid from somebody. All right. So this is a huge season for him. All right. Toman Fox was the most surprising addition to the 53-man roster, but he is a speedy linebacker who's a big hitter, as was seen in the second game when he forced that fumble against Cincinnati. The Giants recovered it with like 2-3 seconds or whatever it was left to go in the game, and that pretty much ended the game, okay? And it says here, his game-ending fumble in week 2 of the preseason against the Bengals went viral. Yeah, he was like shot out of a cannon. He saw the play, but he was in such a spot. He was on the sideline protecting anything from, because basically possibly what the Bengals were going to try to do is throw the ball outside, pick up an additional 10 yards or so, give themselves maybe a better field goal opportunity, and the guy catch the ball outside and step out of bounds, stop the clock. Well, that's where Toman Fox was situated at. So as soon as the ball was snapped, quarterback stepped back, threw the ball to the out. He got shot out of a cannon. So there was like nobody there to block him. But, he laid the smack down upon the dude's candy ass, fumbled the ball. Giants got it. So that really helped his chances. All right. Then we got inside linebackers. All right. Got Tay Crowder, Austin Colicchio, Micah McFadden, Carter Coughlin, and Cam Brown. All right. And, of course, no Blake Martinez. Blake Martinez's release has really shaken up this group. Yeah, the Giants do not have a lot of, Tay Crowder's had quite a bit of experience in his first 2 years. He led the team in tackles last year. He got injured, I believe, his first year, though. But, he's played. Cam Brown has been around a couple of years. Carter Coughlin has played a couple of years, But you don't have a bunch of guys there who have like 4 or 5 years of experience, of a boatload of playing time. You don't have anybody who's like, an all-pro or anything like that, so we're a little light, okay, here. But, this also might be one of those positions, that, with Wink Martindale's defense, that doesn't get used that much, or not used that much, but where it's not, I don't know. I don't want to say as important or whatever. They might a lot of times might only have one inside linebacker on the field. And I said the safeties could be more important. They get, who knows? They can have maybe 2 safeties. Who knows? Maybe they might have 3 safeties and 3 cornerbacks. Who knows? They might have 2 safeties and 4 cornerbacks on the field, because they're going to be blitzing guys left and right. You're going to need guys who can step back in coverage and cover. Now, with Crowder, Colicchio, McFadden, Carter Coughlin, and Cam Brown, none of them their strong points would be being coverage, right? So that might be a little bit of a liability if you wind up having 2 of them on the field most of the time. Okay. Let's see. Austin Colicchio, let's see here. His running mate will now likely be, we got Tay Crowder will start, but his, what might be the defensive MVP, Austin Colicchio. Colicchio is a journeyman linebacker who has already been on 9 teams in his 5-year career. Micah McFadden, a rookie 5th-round pick with a solid training camp, will likely be the first linebacker off the bench and should play a significant role. Now, Micah McFadden is very good downhill, blitzing, in the box, going against the run, very good. Stuff outside, he's not as fast. Dropping back his coverage, he's, I don't want to say a total liability, but that's not a strong point. Okay, so then you got Carter Coughlin. Carter Coughlin has some flexibility there. He can play inside, but also, let's not forget a couple of years ago, he was like an edge rusher as well. So he has experience inside and outside. All right. And then you got Cam Brown, who will likely be, obviously is on huge on special teams. Cam Brown, one of the reasons why he's still on the team is for his special teams play, without question. He's a special team stud. But as far as inside linebacker, he's only so-so. Okay. So this group is not especially strong, and you could argue after the release of Martinez, it is the worst position group on the team. That one line and this one, yeah, and tight end, you could say, without question. Now we got safeties, okay. All right, so now we got the starting 2, Xavier McKinney and Julian Love. All right, then we got Dane Belton, who's coming back from his broken collarbone, right? And he might be able to play in time for the week 1 contest. If not, hopefully maybe for week 2. But he's one of those integral parts that might wind up playing like maybe in the box, So keep an eye out for him. Hopefully, dying is. I always pull for those third, fourth, fifth, sixth round draft picks. Especially if they get on always pulling for those guys. Because it's so important to build a team. Because you're going to obviously have you guys heavy at the top. With the pay and all that. You need guys at the bottom of the roster who can play. Who just coming off of like a rookie contract, $800,000, $900,000, $1 million a year. You need guys like that. Plus, also, you want to draft good. And as I was saying, you want to actually, hey, keep your guys, re-sign them. Huh? Wouldn't that be nice? All right. So we got Xavier McKinney, and then you got Julian Love, Mr. Duct Tape, who can play all over the field. But then you got Jason Pinnock and Dane Belton of the reserves there. Okay. Then cornerback. Now, this one here, right, the two biggest waiver claims the Giants made on Wednesday could be found here. Justin Layne and Nick McLeod. Layne, a 2019 third-round pick from Pittsburgh, is a great special teams player who has played in 43 games at cornerback the last 3 seasons for Pittsburgh. Layne was a college standout at Michigan State, and he is a big depth upgrade over what the Giants had last week. Yeah, their depth was not good at all, and you've seen that quite a bit as it got exposed quite a bit, especially against the Jets in the final preseason game. I mean, the Jets were just kind of walking up and down the field. I mean, picking them apart. Jets had like well over 400 yards of offense against the Giants. I mean, it was tough. McLeod was signed as an undrafted free agent by Buffalo a season ago, and he ended up playing for Cincinnati last season. He returned to Buffalo this offseason and narrowly lost a battle for the backup cornerback spot in the league's best defense. Yeah, but Buffalo, I'll tell you what, their secondary is very good. Jackson is still a lockdown number one. Adoree Jackson is still locked the number one corner. While it would seem that Layne or McLeod could push Robinson for the starting second corner, yeah, because Robinson seems a little lost. I don't say lost, but on the outside, that's not. They're going to need to, I think, upgrade that. We'll have to want to wait and see if maybe somebody emerges, okay, throughout the season as the number 2. But Aaron Robinson, I mean, he was making tackles and all, but he was also, letting guys catch a lot of balls. So we'll have to want to wait and see, what goes on with the Giants after the season's over with. If they try to address their second cornerback position, maybe in the draft, or it also goes to show you, how important it might wind up being to possibly keeping Adoree Jackson around instead of just letting him go. Because if they were to let him go next year to try to save some money on salary cap, speaking of having a hole at number 1 a cornerback position, wow, that would put the Giants, I'll tell you what, in a major hole. So cornerback next season can be interesting to see what the Giants do, especially because due to Wink Martindale's defensive schemes. You got to have some good cornerbacks. So we'll have to wait and see how this season plays out. But you got to keep an eye on that. And then we got Jack Anderson, okay? And you got it from Big Blue View. I always love their articles. They do a very, very good job. I get a lot of my information from them. And one of the articles here is a Jack Anderson film study. Did Giants find his starter on the waivers? ? Incessant training camp injuries plague the interior offensive line for the New York Giants. Yep. Big Blue plays starting left guard Shane Lemieux on the short-term IR. It means he has to miss at least 4 games. Okay. They lost 5th-round rookie Marcus McKeithen to a torn ACL. Unbelievable. And several veterans missed time for various ailments throughout the summer. Ben Bredesen and rookie Joshua Zudo have missed time as well. Ben Bredesen was injured last year, too. The offensive line took a giant leap forward after the awful 2021 season, but the line is it's still a work in progress. Okay. Offensive line coach Bobby Johnson has done a good job cross-training back-end roster tackles to play inside. And it looks like Devery Hamilton may be versatile enough to handle guard duties in the NFL. Adding depth or potential starters through waivers was a must for the Giants' Joe Schoen and the Giants front office. After final cuts, all right, Shane and Dable added a familiar face in Jack Anderson to the Giants. The Buffalo Bills selected Anderson in the 7th round of last year's draft. Bills general manager Brandon Beane put him on the Bills practice squad. Howie Roseman and the Eagles signed former Texas Tech offensive lineman to their active roster after week 2 last season. Anderson hurt his hamstring and landed on the IR. He was activated for the season's final 3 weeks and played against the Giants and Cowboys, starting against the Cowboys. Yeah, I'm going to go over. He played only a few snaps against the Giants, not many at all, but he played a lot against the Cowboys. Anderson is a former 4-star recruit who is the 10th ranked prospect coming out of Texas in 2017. He opted to play for Cliff Kingsbury at Texas over schools like Penn State, Alabama, Baylor, Texas, UCLA, Ole Miss, Florida, USC, Arizona, and Duke. All right. So the Giants claimed him, and he played. I said he's 6'5", 315 pounds. All right. He played 43 snaps at offensive center and 31 snaps at right guard. Okay. Now let's see here. He is. What do we got? Okay, 6'5", 315. All right. Now last year, okay, he graded out at a 71 overall by Pro Football Focus. Okay. He played 7 snaps against the Giants. Okay. Not much at all. Let me see. I'm going to try to get this breakdown here. 7 snaps total. Okay. 7 run blocking snaps. Okay, against the Giants. Okay, when he was playing for the Eagles. But the last game of the season against the Cowboys, okay, he was the center. Okay. I guess he played. It looks like he played maybe both. All right, both positions. Maybe he was like the guard and the center also. Maybe switch back and forth. But he played 74 total snaps against the Cowboys. So basically the whole game, week 18 against the Dallas Cowboys for the Eagles. 43 pass blocking snaps, 31 run blocking snaps. Now, this is a full game against the Cowboys, which had a decent defense, okay, last year. All right, he graded out at a 70.5. His pass blocking grade was a 73.1. His run blocking grade was a 67.5. Okay. So, I mean, overall for the whole season, those 2 games he played, he graded out at a 71 overall. Small sample size. I get it. But he played a full game against the Dallas Cowboys, who did not have pretty much a slouch of a defense last year. Okay. And he, 74 snaps, he graded out at a 70.5. 73 on the pass block and a 67.5 on the run blocking. So that's not too bad. So what they're talking about here, quite possibly, okay, is, did he wind up, or can he possibly wind up maybe, doing enough maybe to wind up getting the starting position, starting job? Who knows? Oh, Vinny G-Man here. What do you think about the year upcoming? I'm on the fence. I could go either way for me. Obviously, injuries is the main concern. Oh, injuries. Nothing can derail a season faster than injuries. I mean, you can go to any Super Bowl winning team. I mean, like I said, look what Brady, like with the Bucs. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not complaining but you start wiping out his entire offensive line. Gronkowski, and you got Fournette, and you got Evans, and all the wide receivers are all healthy. The offensive line are all healthy. Well, I'll tell you what, put second string guys on the offensive line. We'll give him Leonard Fournette. Go right ahead. Yeah, you'll be the starting running back. But Gronkowski, no, put the third string tight end in there. Give him second string wide receivers, okay? And you go at it, Mr. Brady. Go at it. Go see how many touchdown passes you throw, how many games you want to win. You're going to win the Super Bowl? Nope, not happening, pal. Let's do the same thing with the Rams, okay, last year. Hey, man, they had a great season. Fantastic. They deserve to win the Super Bowl? Absolutely. But I'll tell you what, put a second string offensive line from Matt Stafford. Okay. The dude's a statue back there, right? Have guys blitzing at him left and right, have pressure all over the time, right? All of the start. No, Odell Beckham Jr. Nope, sorry, you're not playing. We'll put a second stringer there. Second stringers all over the place, right? Go win a Super Bowl. Not happening. Now, as far as with the Giants, tell you what, the easy schedule they got, okay, if they only win 5 games or so, okay, just by the fact they got an easy schedule, we got to get at least 6 or 7 wins. Got to. Now, I'm not saying we're going to be 9 wins or 10 wins or something like that. I would like that. Sure. If we were 9-8, shoo, I'm all for it. But can we get a 6 or 7 wins, right? And then, and then give Shane and Dable another year or so to get rid of some more, parts to the puzzle that they want to get rid of and bring in some more of their own guys. Let's see what we're going to wind up doing at the quarterback position, all that and everything. But, we got to win at least 6 or 7 games just because of the easy schedule we got. I said, if we don't, I was kind of optimistic last year, right? Because what happened in 2020, right? We started 1-7. I'm like, oh my God. Then we finished 5-3. Last 8 games, 5-3. I'm like, whoa. And Colt McCoy was in there. We had backup quarterback in there. We go to Seattle. We wind up beating Seattle. A backup quarterback. And we wind up 5-3 last 8 games. I'm like, oh, okay. This ain't too bad. So then, maybe Judge is onto something here. So then what happens? I was optimistic, last year. I didn't. I thought maybe at absolute best, maybe we could win 10 games if everything went right. Of course, it didn't. But I thought maybe possibly, but I thought maybe we would win maybe 8 or 9 games, maybe based on the way we finished in 2020. Nothing could be further from the truth. We just kind of, injuries were huge. I get it. So I was going to want to be an interest in here because the Giants are starting off a lot of injuries, right? So, I said we got to win at least 6 or 7 games just based on the schedule that we have. All right. And if I said if we only win 4 or 5 games, unless we're totally decimated by injuries, if we only win 4 or 5. Whew. But let's try to get at least 6 or 7 wins, and then give Shane and Dable and all that another season because they might have to get rid of Jones and have to bring a new quarterback in. Right, and start teaching him, and he might, and that's a learning curve for the if we draft a rookie quarterback next year, that's next year will be like a learning curve for him. So then we might have to give him Shane and Dable another season, But I said, hopefully we compete. Hopefully we don't get blown out like we did some of those games last year, and hopefully we can kind of keep it competitive. I don't expect us to beat the Titans, but I'll tell you what, man, if we go in there, we lose. I don't know what, 27-20. It's a moral victory. It's a loss, yeah. But okay, let's not get embarrassed. Because some games last year, you're just embarrassed, And I just don't want to be embarrassed anymore. I'm sick and tired of being embarrassed. Well, that has been 37 minutes. Thank you guys so much watching this. I greatly appreciate it. Or anybody watches the review of this, the replay of this. Thank you so much, guys. You guys absolutely freaking rock. But thanks again. Thank you, guys. I'm going to try to be back again. Maybe not tomorrow night, but maybe Tuesday night. We're going to go live for another 30 minutes. Once again, thank you, guys. You guys stay safe out there. And as always, go Giants. Woo!